Welcome back to Talk Sophia, your daily English practice space.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan, here with my beautiful friend, Sophia.
Each episode helps you learn English naturally by listening to real-life conversations.
And today's topic is one that I personally think is one of the most important and practical ones we've ever covered on this channel. We're talking about how to speak English in a job meeting.
That's right. Today we're going to teach you 100 essential phrases for talking in a work meeting in English. Whether you attend meetings in person, on video calls, or in online team chats, this lesson is going to help you participate, contribute, and communicate like a true professional.
Think about it. Meetings happen every single day in workplaces around the world. If you work in an English-speaking environment, or if your company uses English as its working language, knowing what to say in a meeting is absolutely essential.
And even if you're a student preparing for your future career, learning this language now will give you a huge advantage later.
So if you're ready to level up your professional English, please give this video a thumbs up right now. And make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new lesson.
All right, let's get started.
Hey, Sophia, how are you today?
I'm doing really well, thank you. I feel quite productive today, actually. I woke up early, made a proper breakfast, and I already have my notes ready for our lesson.
That is so very Sophia of you. I, on the other hand, almost forgot what day it was this morning.
Ryan, how do you forget what day it is?
I don't know. I woke up thinking it was Tuesday, checked my phone, it was Wednesday, panicked for about 10 seconds, then remembered I had nothing urgent on Tuesday anyway.
That's honestly a little funny. So what did you do this weekend?
Actually, I had an interesting experience. I helped my friend Marco prepare for a big presentation at his company. He has a quarterly review meeting next week, and he was really nervous about speaking in English in front of his whole team.
Oh, that's such a common fear. Speaking in a work meeting in a second language is genuinely challenging.
Exactly. He kept asking me things like, how do I politely disagree with my boss? And what do I say when I don't understand something? We practiced for almost 2 hours.
That sounds like a very productive session. Did he feel more confident afterward?
Much more, and it made me realize how many specific phrases you actually need just to get through one meeting professionally.
That is so true. And speaking of that, it's exactly what we're covering today. This lesson was made for people just like your friend Marco.
Perfect timing, right? Let's teach all our viewers what we taught Marco.
Let's do it. Okay, so let's approach this systematically. A work meeting has several stages. It starts before the meeting, then the opening, then the main discussion, and finally the closing. We'll cover phrases for each stage.
I like that structure. Let's start before the meeting. What do people say before a meeting even begins?
Great starting point. Before a meeting, there's often preparation and communication. If you are organizing the meeting, you might send a message or email that says, "I'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss," or "Could we arrange a time to meet about?" or "I'm calling a team meeting for Thursday at 2 p.m.
And if you receive a meeting invitation, what do you say to confirm?
You respond with, "I'll be there. Thank you for the invitation." Or, "I confirm my attendance for Thursday's meeting." Or simply, "Confirmed. See you then."
What if you can't attend? How do you politely say you can't come?
You say, "I'm afraid I won't be able to make it on Thursday." Or, "Unfortunately, I have a conflict at that time. Is there another option?" Or, "I can't attend in person, but can I join by video call?"
I have a conflict at that time. What does that mean exactly?
A conflict in scheduling means you already have something else planned at the same time. Two things overlap, so you can't do both. "I have a scheduling conflict" is a very professional way to say you're unavailable.
Got it. So you're not saying the meeting is a bad idea, just that you're already busy.
Exactly. It's polite and professional. No excuses needed. Now, before the meeting starts, there's also the agenda. What is an agenda?
I know this one. An agenda is the list of topics you're going to discuss in the meeting, right?
Exactly right. An agenda is a plan or list of topics for discussion. You might say, "I've prepared the agenda for today's meeting," or "Please review the agenda before we begin," Or, today we have 3 items on the agenda.
And if you're attending someone else's meeting, you might say, I reviewed the agenda. I have some questions about item 2.
Perfect. Now let's move to the opening of the meeting itself. This is when the meeting officially begins. How do you open a meeting in English?
I think the person running the meeting, the chairperson, they start first.
Exactly. The person leading the meeting is sometimes called the chairperson or meeting facilitator. They open with phrases like, let's get started, or shall we begin? Or, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today.
Very direct and professional. What else do they say at the start?
They often do a quick welcome and introduction of the purpose. They say, the purpose of today's meeting is to, for example, the purpose of today's meeting is to review last quarter's results, or we're here today to discuss the new marketing strategy, or today we need to make a decision about the project timeline.
Stating the purpose clearly at the start is important, right? It tells everyone what to focus on.
Very important. It keeps the meeting efficient and focused. The chairperson might also check attendance. Let's do a quick roll call. Or, is everyone here? Or, it looks like we're still waiting for Daniel. Let's give him 2 more minutes.
And what if someone is joining late? What do they say?
A person arriving late says, sorry I'm late. I had a call that ran over. Or, apologies for being late. Please continue. I'll catch up. Or, sorry everyone, I got held up in traffic.
A call that ran over. That means the call lasted longer than planned?
Exactly. Ran over means it went past the scheduled end time. The meeting ran over by 15 minutes means it lasted 15 minutes longer than planned.
Oh, that happens to me constantly. My meetings always run over.
We'll teach you phrases to prevent that later. Now, once the meeting is officially open, how do people take turns speaking? This is something many learners find difficult.
Yes, in a meeting you can't just start talking whenever you want. You need to know how to enter the conversation politely.
Right. You use contributory phrases if you want to add your idea. You say, I'd like to add something here. Or, can I jump in for a moment? Or, if I may, I'd like to share a thought on that.
Can I jump in? That's a very casual but common expression, right?
Yes, jump in means to enter a conversation. It's common in everyday workplace English. More formal alternatives are, may I interject? Or, could I add to that point?
And if you want to speak but someone keeps talking and you can't find a moment, you use an interruption phrase politely.
You say, sorry to interrupt, but, or, excuse me, I'd like to add something before we move on. Or, if I could just say one thing quickly.
And the person speaking should respond to that politely too, right?
Yes, they say, of course, go ahead. Or, sure, please share. Or, let me just finish this point and then I'll hand it over to you.
Hand it over means to give the turn to speak?
Exactly. Hand it over to you means I'll give you the chance to speak next. You also hear, I'll pass the floor to Ryan, which means the same thing.
The floor, like the floor of the room?
In this context, yes. The floor metaphorically means the right to speak in a meeting. You have the floor means it's your turn to talk. It's a formal meeting expression.
I love that expression. It sounds so official. Ryan, you have the floor.
Very dramatic. Okay, now let's talk about how to present your ideas in a meeting. This is a key skill. How do you introduce what you want to say?
I think you need to signal that you're about to make a point, right? You don't just jump straight into it.
Right. You use introductory phrases. For example, I'd like to make a point about, or I think we should consider, or in my opinion, the best approach here is, or from my perspective.
From my perspective, that means from my point of view.
Exactly. Perspective means your point of view or way of seeing something. It's a very useful professional phrase. You can also say, from where I stand, or the way I see it.
Those all sound confident, but not aggressive.
That's the goal. You want to sound assertive, meaning clear and confident, but also respectful of other people's opinions. And after you make your point, you can invite others to respond by saying, what do you all think? Or, does anyone have thoughts on that? Or, I'm open to other ideas.
That shows you're collaborative, not just pushing your own opinion.
Exactly. Collaboration is a key word in professional meetings. Now, what about when you agree with someone? How do you show agreement in a meeting?
Oh, I know some of these. I agree. That's a good point.
Those are the basics, but there's a whole range from simple to formal. Simple, I agree. Exactly. That's right. Medium, I think that's a great idea. I'm on board with that. That makes a lot of sense. Formal, I fully support that proposal. I concur with that assessment. I think that approach is sound.
Wait, concur? That's a new word for me.
Concur is a formal way to say agree. It's often used in business or formal meetings. I concur with your analysis means I agree with your analysis. You don't need to use it in casual conversation, but it's good to understand it.
And what about the opposite? Disagreeing. This is the really tricky one for many people.
Disagreeing politely is one of the most important professional skills. You never want to sound rude or dismissive, even when you disagree. The key is to acknowledge the other person's point first, then add your different view.
So you don't just say, no, that's wrong.
Never. That would be very unprofessional. Instead, you say, I see your point, but I have a slightly different view. Or, that's an interesting idea. I'm just not sure it would work because. Or, I understand where you're coming from, however.
I understand where you're coming from. That means I understand your reasoning or your perspective. It shows empathy before disagreement. It softens the disagreement. So the structure is acknowledge, soften, disagree.
Exactly. That's a great framework. Acknowledge their point, add a softening phrase, then give your different opinion. For example, that's a really valid point, and I appreciate you raising it. However, I think we also need to consider the budget constraints.
That sounds so much more professional than just saying, but the budget is a problem.
Much more professional, and it keeps the atmosphere positive. What about when you're not sure about something, when you need more information before you can agree or disagree?
Oh, this happens to me a lot, especially when someone uses technical terms I don't know.
Perfect scenario. You use clarifying phrases. You say, could you clarify what you mean by that? Or, I want to make sure I understand correctly. Are you saying that? Or, could you give an example of what that would look like?
Those are great. You're not saying you disagree, you're just asking for more information.
And that's totally professional. In fact, asking good clarifying questions shows that you're engaged and thinking carefully.
What if you genuinely don't understand something, like a word or a concept? Is it okay to admit that in a meeting?
Absolutely. And it's better to ask than to stay confused. You say, I'm sorry, could you explain what you mean by? Or, I'm not familiar with that term. Could you elaborate? Or, just to make sure I'm following, what does that mean in practice?
Elaborate means to explain in more detail.
Yes, to elaborate means to add more detail or explanation to what you've already said. Could you elaborate on that idea? Means, could you explain that idea in more detail?
Useful word. Now let's talk about making suggestions and proposals. This is when you offer an idea for the group to consider.
Great topic. Suggesting ideas uses very specific language. You say, I'd like to suggest that we, for example, I'd like to suggest that we move the deadline to Friday. Or, what if we tried a different approach? Or, have we considered the option of? Or, one possibility would be to.
Have we considered? That's a nice way to introduce an idea without being too forceful.
Right. It frames your idea as a question to the group, which invites collaboration. You're saying, I have an idea and I want to know what you all think. Other suggestion phrases include, it might be worth exploring, or perhaps we could, or I'd recommend that we.
I'd recommend sounds quite confident.
It does. Use it when you feel strongly about your suggestion. I'd recommend means you've thought about it carefully and you believe it's the right approach.
Now let me ask about something that happens a lot in my experience, getting off topic. Sometimes meetings drift away from the agenda. How do you bring it back politely?
This is so important. If a meeting goes off topic, the facilitator, or anyone really, can refocus with phrases like, I think we're getting a little off track. Let's get back to the main point. Or, that's an interesting point, but let's save it for another discussion. Or, can we come back to the agenda? We still have 3 items to cover.
And the phrase, table that. I've heard people say, let's table that discussion. What does it mean?
This is a tricky one. Table actually means different things in American English and British English. In American English, to table something means to postpone it, to set it aside for later. In British English, to table something means to bring it forward for immediate discussion.
Oh, wow, opposite meanings. That could cause real confusion in an international meeting.
It really could. So it's safer to say, let's postpone that discussion, or let's park that idea for now and come back to it. Park that idea means set it aside temporarily.
Park that idea. I love that one. Very visual.
It's commonly used in business English. Okay, let's talk about something very specific. What to say during a vote or decision-making moment. Sometimes at the end of a discussion, the team needs to make a decision.
Right. How do you formally propose a vote or a decision?
You say, can we take a vote on this? Or, let's see if we have a consensus. Or, all in favor, please say aye. Or, is everyone in agreement?
What's a consensus?
A consensus is when everyone, or most people, agree on something. We reached a consensus means the whole group came to the same conclusion. It's different from a vote, where some people might win and some might lose. Consensus means everyone is satisfied.
That sounds more collaborative.
Exactly. Many modern teams aim for consensus rather than voting. And if you support a decision, you say, I vote yes. I'm in favor of this. I support this proposal. And if you disagree, you say, I vote no. I have reservations about this. I'm not fully convinced yet.
I have reservations. That means I have doubts or concerns?
Exactly. I have reservations about this plan means I'm not completely sure this is the right idea. I have some concerns. It's professional and honest without being aggressive.
Now, let's cover video meetings specifically. So many meetings are online now. Are there special phrases for virtual meetings?
Absolutely. Online meetings have their own unique language. At the start, you might say, can everyone hear me okay? Or is my screen sharing working? Or let me know if you have any audio issues.
And when there are technical problems?
You say, I think I'm frozen. Can you still see me? Or I'm having some connection issues. Give me a moment. Or your audio is cutting out. Could you repeat that?
Cutting out means the sound keeps breaking up, right?
Exactly. Your audio is cutting out means the sound is intermittent. It disappears and comes back. It's very common in video calls.
And what about when multiple people try to speak at the same time? That happens all the time in online meetings.
It does. You say, sorry, please go ahead. Or, oh, you go first. Or, I think a few of us tried to speak at the same time. Who would like to go first?
What about the mute button? There are phrases for that too, right?
Definitely. You say, I think you're on mute. Or, could you unmute yourself? Or, sorry, I forgot to unmute. Let me start again.
You're on mute is probably one of the most common sentences in modern professional life.
Without a doubt, it's become a classic phrase of the remote work era.
Now, let's talk about the end of a meeting. How do you close a meeting professionally?
The closing is just as important as the opening. You want to summarize what was discussed, confirm the action items, and end on a positive note.
What are action items?
Action items are the specific tasks that need to be done after the meeting. For example, Ryan will send the report by Friday. That's an action item. You say, let me summarize the action items from today's discussion. Or, so to recap, Ryan is responsible for the report, and Sophia will contact the client.
To recap means to quickly summarize, right? We use that in the customer support lesson, too.
Right. It's a very common phrase across many professional situations. Let me recap the key points means let me quickly review the main things we discussed.
And how do you officially close the meeting?
You say, I think we've covered everything on the agenda. Or, that brings us to the end of today's meeting. Or, thank you all for your contributions today.
And then people say goodbye?
Yes, but also they often confirm the next steps. Our next meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Or, I'll send the meeting minutes by end of day today. Or, please complete your action items before our next meeting.
What are meeting minutes?
Meeting minutes are a written record of what was discussed and decided during a meeting. They are usually written by one person, the minute taker or secretary, and sent to all participants after the meeting.
So even after the meeting, there's professional language involved.
Absolutely. And if you receive meeting minutes, you respond, "Thank you for the minutes. Everything looks correct." Or, "I'd like to add one correction to item 3." That's professional meeting follow-through.
This has been so comprehensive, Sophia. I feel like I just attended a professional development workshop.
That was the goal. Let's also quickly cover one more important area, asking for clarification about a task during the meeting, because sometimes someone assigns you a task and you're not completely sure what to do.
Oh yes, this is important. You don't want to agree to something you don't understand.
Exactly. You say, "Just to clarify, you'd like me to finish this by Friday?" Or when you say prepare the report, do you mean the full report or just the summary? Or who should I send this to when it's done?
Those are really practical questions. They show you're responsible and paying attention.
They do. And asking for clarification in the meeting is always better than doing the wrong thing and finding out later.
One last scenario. What if you want to give positive feedback or compliment an idea in the meeting? How do you do that professionally?
Great finishing topic. Giving positive feedback in a meeting builds a collaborative atmosphere. You say, "That's an excellent point," or "I think that's a really creative solution," or "Well done on that analysis. It was very thorough."
And thorough means complete and detailed, right?
Exactly. A thorough analysis means a very detailed and complete analysis. Nothing was missed.
And you can give feedback on the meeting itself, right? At the end?
Yes, that was a very productive meeting. Or, "I think we made great progress today." Or, "This was really useful. Thank you, everyone."
Those phrases send everyone out on a positive note.
And people remember how a meeting ends. End on positivity, and your team will look forward to the next one.
Unlike those endless meetings that just drag on and on with no conclusion.
Ryan?
I'm just saying, some meetings really do need better closing phrases.
Fair point. You know, Ryan, while we were talking today, we used so many important and useful professional words. Let's take some time to review the most essential ones for our viewers.
Yes, there were some really great vocabulary words today. Let's go through them carefully.
Perfect. First word, agenda. An agenda is a list of topics or items to be discussed during a meeting. It's prepared before the meeting and shared with all participants.
So it's like a plan or a schedule for the meeting.
Exactly. We have 5 items on the agenda today. Please send me the agenda before the meeting. We didn't finish all the items on the agenda.
What if a meeting has no agenda? Is that a problem?
Many meeting experts say yes. Without an agenda, meetings often go off track and take much longer than necessary. A clear agenda keeps everyone focused and makes meetings more efficient.
I should send agendas before all my meetings. I usually just show up.
That's a common habit, but planning ahead really does help. Second word, facilitator. A facilitator is the person who leads or manages the meeting. They keep the discussion on track and make sure everyone has a chance to speak.
So the facilitator is like the driver of the meeting.
Great analogy. They steer the conversation in the right direction. The facilitator opened the meeting at 9 a.m. As the facilitator, it's your job to manage the time. Related words, chair, chairperson, or meeting leader all describe the person running the meeting.
Third word?
Third word, consensus. A consensus is a general agreement among all or most members of a group. Everyone, or nearly everyone, agrees on the decision.
So it's different from a majority vote where some people win and some people lose.
Exactly right. With consensus, you aim for a solution everyone can accept. We reached a consensus after an hour of discussion. The team is in consensus about the new strategy.
And if there's no consensus?
Then you might take a vote or table the decision until next time. We couldn't reach a consensus, so we'll revisit this next week.
Fourth word?
Fourth word, assertive. To be assertive means to communicate your ideas or opinions clearly and confidently without being aggressive or rude.
Oh, this is a really important word for meetings.
Very important. She was assertive in the meeting. She shared her opinion clearly. Don't be afraid to be assertive when you have a good idea. The opposite of assertive is passive, staying quiet and not sharing your views. Being too passive in meetings can mean your ideas never get heard.
I think many language learners are passive in meetings because they're not confident enough in English. Today's phrases help with that.
Exactly the goal. Fifth word, elaborate. To elaborate means to explain something in more detail, to add more information to what you've already said.
Could you elaborate on that point?
Perfect use. I'd like to elaborate on the proposal. She elaborated on her idea and everyone understood it better. You can also use the adjective elaborate to describe something complex or detailed, but in meetings, the verb form is most useful.
Sixth word.
Sixth word, action item. An action item is a specific task that needs to be completed after the meeting. It usually includes who is responsible and when it must be done.
Ryan's action item is to send the weekly report by Thursday.
Exactly. Let's list all the action items before we close. I have 3 action items from today's meeting. Action items make meetings productive. They ensure the conversation leads to real results.
Without action items, meetings are just talking.
Very well said. A good meeting always produces clear action items. Seventh word, minutes. In the context of meetings, minutes are the official written record of what was discussed, decided, and assigned during a meeting.
Wait, why are they called minutes? Like time minutes?
Great question. Historically, minutes comes from the Latin phrase minuta scriptura, meaning small writing, quick notes, not related to time at all. I'll take the minutes during today's meeting. The minutes from last week's meeting are attached. Could you review the minutes and let me know if anything is missing?
Interesting. I never knew that. Eighth word.
Eighth word, adjourn. To adjourn a meeting means to officially end it or to pause it until a later time.
I'd like to adjourn this meeting until next Tuesday.
Exactly. The chairperson adjourned the meeting at 5 p.m. Shall we adjourn for today and continue tomorrow morning? It's more formal than just saying the meeting is over. You often hear it in formal business or government meetings.
Ninth word.
Ninth word, concur. To concur means to formally agree with something. It's more formal than simply saying, I agree.
I concur with the previous speaker's assessment.
Perfect. The board concurred that the project should proceed. Do all members concur? It's used in formal meetings, presentations, and professional documents. In casual speech, agree is more natural, but knowing concur helps you understand others and sound impressive when appropriate.
10th word.
10th word, debrief. A debrief is a meeting or conversation that happens after an event, project, or presentation to review what happened, what went well, and what could be improved.
We had a debrief after the product launch.
Can we schedule a debrief for Monday morning? The team debrief helped us identify areas for improvement. A debrief is retrospective, meaning it looks back at what already happened. It's a very common word in business, military, and sports contexts.
And the 11th word?
11th word, proposal. A proposal is a formal suggestion or plan that you present for others to consider and approve. It's more developed than a simple idea.
I'd like to present a proposal for the new marketing campaign.
The team reviewed 3 proposals and chose the most cost-effective one. Can you put your proposal in writing before the next meeting? The verb is propose. I propose that we extend the deadline by 1 week.
12th word, our final one.
12th word, constructive. Constructive means helpful and focused on improvement. Constructive feedback is feedback that helps you get better, not just criticism.
The manager gave constructive feedback on my presentation.
Let's keep our discussion constructive. I appreciate your constructive suggestions. The opposite is destructive, feedback that only criticizes without improvement. In meetings, always aim to be constructive, not destructive.
Great word to end on. Shall we do the quick summary?
Yes. Agenda, a list of topics to discuss in a meeting. Facilitator, the person who leads and manages the meeting. Consensus, a general agreement among all group members. Assertive, communicating clearly and confidently. Elaborate, to explain something in more detail. Action item, a specific task assigned after a meeting. Minutes, the written record of a meeting. Adjourn, to officially end or pause a meeting. Concur, to formally agree with something. Debrief, a post-event review meeting. Proposal, a formal plan or suggestion presented for approval. Constructive, helpful and focused on improvement. Okay, Ryan, that was a lot of talking about job meetings today.
It really was. I feel like I just sat through 3 meetings in one go, but actually learned something this time.
That might be the best summary of today's lesson. All right, let's organize everything clearly so our viewers can remember what they learned, shall we?
Let's do it.
First, we learned about what happens before a meeting. This includes scheduling the meeting, confirming your attendance, or politely declining if you can't attend. Key phrases here are, I'd like to schedule a meeting to discuss, and I confirm my attendance, and I'm afraid I have a conflict at that time. And don't forget, always check the agenda before the meeting starts.
Then we talked about how to open a meeting professionally. If you're the facilitator, you use phrases like, let's get started. The purpose of today's meeting is, and thank you all for joining. And if you arrive late, you apologize with, sorry I'm late, I'll catch up. Or, apologies for being late, please continue.
After that, we covered how to participate actively in the discussion. This included how to take your turn. I'd like to add something here, and can I jump in? And how to introduce your ideas with phrases like, from my perspective, I'd like to suggest that we, and what if we tried? We also taught how to agree professionally. I'm on board with that. I fully support that proposal. And how to disagree politely. I see your point, but I have reservations about this, and I understand where you're coming from. However...
Next, we talked about how to ask for clarification and how to handle moments of confusion. Key phrases, could you elaborate on that? And could you clarify what you mean? And just to make sure I understand correctly. These show you're engaged and thinking carefully, not lost.
We also covered special situations, including online meeting language like, you're on mute, your audio is cutting out, and is my screen sharing working? And we covered how to keep meetings on track with, let's get back to the main point, and let's park that idea for now.
And finally, we learned how to close a meeting effectively. Always summarize the action items. To recap, Ryan will send the report by Friday. Confirm next steps. Our next meeting is Tuesday at 10. And end positively. That was a very productive meeting. Thank you all.
Put all of these together and you have a complete toolkit for any professional meeting in English, from the very first good morning to the final meeting adjourned.
It's really not as scary as it seems once you know the right phrases.
Not at all. And remember, the more you use these phrases, the more natural they feel. Your confidence grows with every meeting.
Now, we want to hear from you, and this is genuinely our favorite part of every video.
We look forward to reading your comments every single time. They make our day.
So let's get to today's question.
Our question of the day is, what is one thing that makes a meeting difficult for you, and how do you handle it?
I'll go first. For me, the hardest thing is when people talk very fast and use a lot of technical vocabulary, especially in video meetings. Sometimes I miss a whole section of the conversation and I feel too embarrassed to ask them to repeat everything.
I completely understand that feeling. What do you do?
These days, I've started saying, could you repeat that? I missed part of what you said. It feels a little uncomfortable at first, but honestly, everyone appreciates clarity. Nobody wants a meeting where half the participants are confused.
That's great progress, Ryan. For me, the most challenging thing used to be disagreeing with a senior colleague. I didn't want to seem disrespectful, but I learned that using phrases like, I see your point, and I'd like to offer an alternative perspective, makes disagreement feel collaborative, not confrontational.
See, we have different challenges and different strategies, and both are completely valid.
So, viewers, we want to know about you. What makes meetings challenging for you in English?
You can use one of these templates. Template 1, the most difficult thing about meetings in English for me is challenge, so I handle it by strategy.
Template 2, I find it hard to specific situation in a meeting. My tip for this is advice.
Template 3, one phrase I learned today that will help me in meetings is phrase, because, reason.
Please share in the comments below. Writing your experience in English is wonderful practice, and your answer might help another learner who has the exact same challenge.
We read every single comment, and we truly appreciate every one of you who takes the time to participate.
Your comment is your contribution to our Talk Sophia community, and this community learns together. Thank you so much for watching today's lesson. This was a big one, and you made it all the way to the end. That tells us you are serious about improving your English, and we are so proud of you.
If today's lesson helped you, even just a little, please give this video a big thumbs up. It genuinely helps more people find our channel and benefit from these lessons.
And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe button right now and click the little bell icon next to it.
That way, YouTube will notify you every time we post a new lesson, and you won't fall behind in your English journey.
You are all truly wonderful students. We see your dedication, we see your effort, and we are so grateful you learn with us here at Talk Sophia.
Keep practicing every day. Remember, every professional you admire was once a beginner. The only difference is they kept going.
So, keep going. We believe in you.
Have a wonderful day, a wonderful evening, and a wonderful night wherever you are in the world.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.